What's up, Fragrance Connoisseurs? I finally got my hands on all the bottles, so I wanted to give an basic review on the discontinued fragrance. And yes, it is Yves Saint Laurent, La Nuit de l'Homme, Bleu Electrique. Finally got that in. I had to search it down on eBay, but got a bottle, paid a hefty little sum for it, but I did get it, and I have Jack of Clubs to give you a comparison, and then Grandeur Elite, I have iconic Nuit pour Homme. So we will get into it in just a minute after station identification, and we'll go to what's the best one, what I recommend, how do they compare. So just sit back, stay tuned for station identification, and we'll get into our comparison of the clones of Bleu Electrique by YSL. Okay, fragrance connoisseurs, we're back. And first we'll talk about Bleu Electrique. So just wanted to give you a little background. Really nice fragrance. Of course, it's been hyped and been discontinued. Unfortunately, at this time when Bleu Electrique came out, I was in my niche phase, so I was not really trying to get Bleu Electrique at the time. I was using my budget to get all niche fragrances. Once I decided I had to have it, of course it was hard to get. So I was looking on discounters, and as soon as it would come available, it would be gone by the time I tried to buy it. And I had to get it on eBay, and I think I paid about $155 for the 3.4 ounce or 3.3 something ounce of it. So what is it to me? In general, it's not a classic blue fragrance like you would think of, like Versace Dylan Blue. It's more of a spicy aromatic fragrance, and it was made by the master perfumer. He was made a master perfumer in 2018 of Dominique Ropian. So Dominique has been involved with a whole lot of different fragrances, and in fact, I think 356 fragrances he has been the perfumer or been in a collaboration with other perfumers on. Some of the ones that he's known for, of course, Bleu Electrique, but he's also known for Terry Mugler's Alien. He's known for Victor and Rolf's Flower Bomb, and his most famous one, probably, arguably, they say, is Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. Portrait of a Lady, great fragrance. I had a decant of it. I haven't bought a full bottle yet, but it is on my list of rose fragrances to add to my collection. So in getting this one, what you get out of it is cardamom, which makes it aromatic. Cardamom is probably one of my favorite spices to put into an aromatic type fragrance. And then it has ginger, which also lends to that spiciness, and then bergamot on the top. The middle is lavender and geranium, and then the base is all woods, cedar and vetiver. It's a great, distinctive fragrance. Like I said, it's not quite blue, but it is something that stands out. Performance is right around, for me, the 6 to 8 hour range, and good projection for 2 to 3 hours. It's by no means a beast mode fragrance, but it is a pretty good fragrance, especially for a spring going into summer. It is denser than, say, some of the other blue fragrances, so I wouldn't necessarily say this would be one that I would wear in high heat. However, it is a great fragrance, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on it. So we heard a little bit about the fragrances. Now the fragrance, the original, the OG. Now let's talk about the first one that I got was this one, which is the Jack of Clubs. And the Jack of Clubs is by Fragrance World. One thing I can say, Vegas Scents, who's also a fragrance influencer on here, talks about that some of the Fragrance World fragrances need to macerate first. And this is definitely, in my opinion, from the bottle that I got, is one that needs to macerate first. When I first got it, I took it out, I sprayed it on, and it had something that was sharp, something that was off-putting, and in fact, I had to spray it off, wash it off, scrub it off. So I was looking for another Bleu Electrique clone in the meantime, and that's when I found the other one by Grandeur Elite. And I actually like Grandeur Elite from my Angel Share clone, so I figured that would be a good one to get. And once that came in, I came back to this bottle and I sprayed maybe 6 to 8 sprays on it and just let it sit, and it sat for about 3 to 4 weeks. And when I sprayed it this time, I sprayed it on a test strip first, and it smelled totally different than when I first got the bottle. Definitely something to the maceration of some of the Fragrance World fragrances. It was in a different realm, didn't have that off-putting sharp tone that it had when I first got it. And so that's when I decided I needed to do a full comparison. And at that time, I was just waiting for my bottle of Bleu Electrique to come in. So here, this one, we're not gonna go back into the notes. I will say that this one is probably somewhere around 90% similar to Bleu Electrique, and I'll go through the differences in a minute. We will now talk about Grandeur Elite, and this is Iconic Nuit pour Homme. Great fragrance. In fact, I like Grandeur Elite's fragrances a lot. Someone in one of my comments said that Grandeur Elite was part of Lattafa. I found out that that's not exactly true. So Grandeur Elite is under, and this is the box, and on the box it says that the company name that houses Grandeur Elite is abcfragrances.com. It's a fragrance house that I believe it said it was in the UAE, but it's somewhere in the Middle East. And they have several lines, not just the Grandeur line, and that they have. And it seemed like a pretty decent house. I haven't seen a whole lot of the fragrances that they have, and I didn't see a lot about these clone fragrances. But this one is a great fragrance right off the rip. When I opened the box and sprayed it, it reminded me of Bleu Electrique. I had a sample of Bleu Electrique, but I really wanted to have the bottle before I did the video. And so now we talk about these two and what are my thoughts about it. So Jack of Clubs, after that first 4-week session, so if you get it, spray it immediately and then let it sit and come back to it in at least 2 weeks. It all depends on what you get. This is about 90% to Bleu Electrique. This is also somewhere around 90% of Bleu Electrique, but they're a little different. So Jack of Clubs is a little spicier and a little more heavy on the woods, where Bleu Electrique compared to Iconic Nuit pour Homme, this one is closer to the original in the opening. However, when it dries down, it has something sweet that kind of makes it a little sweeter. But again, both of them are about in that range of 90 to 95%. And I would say upon your choice of it, it all depends on what you want, but I would say both of them will give you that Bleu Electrique type of vibe. All of them lasted as long as Bleu Electrique. They all lasted about that 6 to 8 hour mark and projected really well, at least arm's length, for 2 to 3 hours. So in that sense, they are pretty comparable and equal. I would just say this is a little spicier, and this one in the dry down gets a little sweeter than the Bleu Electrique. However, this again, I'd say, and I will put on the video, I'll tell you how much I paid for the Jack of Clubs and where I got it from. That'll be in the description as well. And how much I paid for Iconic Nuit, and that will be in the description. The Bleu Electrique, I got it off of eBay for $155. They were selling out, so I don't know if it's still available. But I can say, if you don't want to pay that kind of money, that both of these would be suitable alternatives to it. That's what I have. I think that both of them are good. Again, if you get the Jack of Clubs, spray it, let it macerate. It will be fine after about 2 to 3 weeks. Iconic Nuit was fine right off the rip, and both good alternatives to YSL Bleu Electrique. Why did I get YSL Bleu Electrique if they're good alternatives? Because I'm a fragrance collector and I was sorry that I didn't get it when it was available, and YSL sneakily discontinued it before I could get my hands on it. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the comparison. Take care. God bless.